Hello Wolfpack, it's pretty clear if you've watched my content before, but I do have that 113k price prediction for Bitcoin by December 27th. I've gone over that multiple times. I'm not going to be explaining that again, but if you want to see my price prediction for Bitcoin and how I got to that prediction, go ahead and check out my prediction video I've listed on my channel. I'll put it in the comment section down below as well, so it's easier for you guys to find. But very briefly, I'll go into it. Right, so it's based on the 4-year cycle theory, and essentially it's using data from Q4 and extrapolating that data, adjusting it for lengthening cycles and adjusting it for diminishing returns, and it comes to a price point of 113k by December 27th at a very simple level. Now, again, I highly recommend you check out that video. It will give you an in-depth explanation as to why, in my opinion, that is the most logical price prediction for Bitcoin in this cycle. But, what I want to discuss in this video is not, I want to make this very clear. This price prediction is not my prediction for Bitcoin, right? I'm still sticking to that 113k, but this is the more bullish scenario and the more logical bullish scenario that I can see playing out on Bitcoin, right? So we have the 2013 chart here in the bull market in 2013, and we have the current Bitcoin chart here, and this is the bullish case, the extra bullish case for Bitcoin, in my opinion. That could potentially play out. I still think 113k by December 27th is more likely, but this scenario, and I'll bring up some of the data here, actually suggests that Bitcoin will be reaching a price target of around 205,000 USD by around December 19th, right? So a little bit earlier, about a week earlier, and about 80,000 USD higher or 90,000 USD higher, right? So it's definitely the more bullish case. And that's what we're going to be looking into how this could potentially play out. I will say off the bat, there's not as much supporting evidence for the 205k prediction as there is for the 113k prediction. But for those of you guys who need some hopium, need some ultra bullish arguments, because I know a lot of you guys out there, I did a poll and I know a decent percentage of my audience do actually believe that Bitcoin will be going over 150k this cycle. So look, 200k, 205k, it could happen. It's not completely out of the charts as we can see from this price prediction. But I'll get into how we're getting to that price prediction now. And before I do that, I want to give a quick shout out to Matt Cheng on crypto Twitter, right? Because he's the person who actually identified this fractal. I have just expanded upon it and am reflecting on it from my actual price prediction itself, right? So I've added a lot of things to it, but he's the one who originally identified this fractal, inspired this video, so shout out to him. But essentially, let's get into it, right? So we can see that what we saw in the 2013 cycle, and it's not rocket science, right? It is pretty clear that the 2013 cycle, arguably there is a case that the 2017 cycle is very similar, but arguably the 2013 cycle is more similar to the current cycle just due to the fact that we had a double peak cycle, right? We saw a peak here and a peak here. We're probably going to see a peak here and a peak up here somewhere, right? So it is a more similar cycle, and hence if we zoom in on that cycle, go to the daily chart, we can see what actually happened here in 2013. Well, the most important thing, right, and the most important of things is that in 2013, what we did is we came down here in 2013 in the September period. We corrected 37%. Okay, we corrected 24% in late October, early November, right? And that was actually the bear market low, but we'll get into that in a second. So we corrected 24% in late October, early November, and then we kicked off our parabolic stage and moved up 350% in a 37-day period. Okay, what we're seeing now is something very similar, right? And keep in mind, this whole formation here is a massive cup formation, massive rounding out formation, right? On Bitcoin currently, we're seeing a massive, rounding out formation. Let me get the brush out. A massive rounding out formation, very similar to that of 2013. We've also seen a red September, right? We saw a 25% correction. Keep in mind, the corrections aren't going to be as harsh because, diminishing returns, right? So that means diminishing returns upwards and downwards. The market cap is higher, and so it's harder to move. So instead of the 37% correction, we saw a 25% correction over a very similar time frame. right, in September, and we saw this in September as well, and this ended here in early October, right? This correction here ended literally one day before early October, right? So very similar time frames. We moved upwards, right? We moved upwards here, and now what we are going to see, according to this fractal, and also according to my personal prediction on Bitcoin, what we are going to see is a little bit of a correction here before the final blow off top in this bull market, right? So a correction in 2013, it lasted about, we moved downwards for 3 days, and then we only recovered after about a week or so. So 24% we moved downwards, and that was from the 24th of October into about the 26th of October, 27th of October, right? Assuming that happens, we've got around 2 days until that correction really kicks off. And in fact, it could already be starting, right? Considering we've already dropped down from 67K to 63K, that could be the start of this correction, right? But assuming this plays out, we will be seeing the end of this correction by early to mid-November, possibly even late October, right? And we will finish that correction and head off to our blow-off top move, adjusted for diminishing returns, which would be 230% in 51 days, right? It's important that we lengthen the cycles as well, because in 2013, right, this blow off top was 350% and 37 days. Things take longer to move now, and they have lower returns, right? And taking into account the estimated lengthening cycle period of about 14 days from the 4-year cycle, we can add 14 days to that prediction, right? It's from 37 to 51, and we can assume that's going to take 51 days to move up 230% instead of 37 days to move up 350%, right? And that will bring us to our price target of 205K by December 19th, right? So it's obviously quite compelling, and I could bring up multiple technical indicators to support this fractal, but there's not really much to say about it, right? It's just as simple as that, right? We're seeing the cup formation. We saw a similar September correction. We saw, and we probably will be seeing, a similar October correction, and then we'll see a blow off top. Right, same thing happening here in 2021. It is definitely the most logical extra bullish case for Bitcoin, in my opinion. It's even more bullish than my personal prediction of 113K by December 27th, which in my opinion is extremely bullish, right? But the drawback is that it does not have as much supporting evidence as this base 4-year cycle, prediction that I've made. And, if you want to see how much evidence there is for that, there's so much evidence for this 113K prediction by December 27th. So go ahead and check out that video, right? There's just mountains of evidence for it. But, I will say that this is definitely plausible. Could it happen? Yes, it could. And previously, before I found this fractal, I would say that 200K by December or late December would be impossible. But now that I've found this fractal, it's definitely a potential. It's definitely something to keep an eye on, right? If we get to, early December, late November, and we've clearly rocketed past this 113K price prediction, this will probably be the most logical price prediction here at 205K to, on December 19th. So, and even the December 19th date still lines up with what we could be seeing in the altcoin season, right? Bitcoin usually tops out, or it has topped out historically in December. My prediction of December 27th is not too far off from December 19th, which is what this fractal suggests. So it definitely would not affect the altcoin season. We'll still be seeing a similar altcoin season as we would be if we saw the 113K prediction take place. So, definitely something to keep an eye on, definitely something to keep interested in. And I wanted to bring up as well, the last fact of this video was that this correction, the bottoming out we saw on this second correction, which is probably the one we're going to be seeing in the next couple of days, if this plays out, right? If this plays out. Otherwise, I'm thinking early November, but if this fractal plays out within the next few days, we'll be seeing a correction, and that correction will bring us down to around 57K. And historically, we only have one data point, but this correction zone here in October 2013 actually marked the bear market low, right? So we hit around 150 USD, and that was the low point of the bear market. So assuming that plays out again, if we hit 57K, that could be the low point of the next bear market, which means Bitcoin will never go under 57K again. So it's not only bullish for December, but it's also bullish for the next 3 years, right? Because My personal price prediction for Bitcoin at 113k suggests that Bitcoin will be dropping to at least around that 30k to 40k region in the bear market. So if we reach 250k, then obviously there's less room for us to drop down in the bear market as well, which is ultra bullish for Bitcoin. So let's see if it plays out. There's nothing really we can say about it other than that for now. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.